Today we are going to show you how to fit the high flow throttle body elbow to the Mark 8 8.5 Fiesta ST and Puma ST. So this is where the part is located, is the standard part, really easy to fit. So first of all, we'll remove the electrical connector, and then the vacuum collector. It's got a locking tab on here, you can just do it by hand. You see, just pop that up like that. Carefully it doesn't come out and you don't drop it. And then press in the tab here. Nice and simple. The next thing, if we just move this hose out of the way, you don't need to disconnect it or anything like that, just tuck it up here so you get a bit of access. So down here we have the Jubilee clip that holds the boost hose to the standard elbow. This comes from the intercooler and then into the inlet manifold via the throttle body. So we just need to drop that off. You can use a dumpy screwdriver, we're going to use a 7mm socket just because it's easy to get in there, or a hose clip tool if you have one. Once the hose clip is nice and loose, the next thing will be to drop the hose off. We're going to use a proper hose removal tool. If you don't have one of these, you can use a screwdriver or something, but just be very careful you don't stab any holes in the hose, and also that you don't slip and stab holes in yourself either. Spaffs and spaff as well. If you do get a hose that is particularly stubborn, you can just use some spray, some WD-40 or similar, just to give it a bit of a helping hand and make your life a bit easier. Right, once you've got the hose off, this is a very important step because we're going to be working in and around this area, is some kind of cap or cover for the hose. So we're going to be taking screws and things off, and we do not want to drop them down the hose. If they go down the hose, chances are you're going to have to take the intercooler off, which is headlights out, bumper and everything off to get to it. Okay, next step is to remove the elbow itself from the throttle body. For that you need a T30 Torx tool. You just crack off the 3. There's one down the bottom. It's fiddly, but you can get to them. Okay, next step is just very carefully just tweak the top clip up. You can probably do it by hand actually. And then there's one on the bottom. Okay, so these are the 2 clips, and that's your standard part. So these are the 2 bits side by side, and you can see the difference in airflow through them, the restriction here. This is the icebreaker on the standard part, which is not a huge issue here in the UK. So what we need to do next is swap the sensor over and swap the gasket over. The sensor retaining screw on the standard elbow is a T25 Torx. So wind that out. The sensor itself should just pull out, shouldn't be tight. If you do need something in there, use a very flat screwdriver or something and very, very carefully lever it out, but take a lot of care not to damage anything. And then the last thing we need out of here is the gasket, or the seal. Okay, for reassembly, we're just going to put a very light smear of rubber grease just on the seal and also on the O-ring on the sensor. It's a very, very light smear. It's not 100% compulsory. It just helps everything seat a bit nicer. If you are greasing the O-ring, just the tiniest of smear. Make sure none goes in the hole because it can affect the sensor. We don't want to do that. Literally, that's it. And then just a smear around the rubber seal just to help everything seat a bit better. So the standard seal just pushes in exactly the same way as the standard parts. Just like that. End up covered in grease again. And then the centre hole, we have a nice new stainless steel screw. So the sensor pops in exactly the same way. And then secured with a 4mm hex Allen key or Allen key tool. So now time to put it back on the car. We use the standard 3 fasteners with the T30 Torx. Okay, now we're going to fit the elbow to the car. At this point, it's a lot easier if you put the elbow into the hose first. So we're going to take the cap off. And again, be very, very careful working with open pipe work, because anything that goes down in there will make your day quite difficult. So, slides in exactly the same as the standard part. Don't tighten it just yet, because we're going to adjust it as we go. And then lines up with the standard holes. And again, use the OE screws to secure. Okay, the 3 main bolts, the torque setting on those is 10 Newton meters. If you have access to a torque wrench, great. 10 Newton meters is all they go up to. It's very, very light. If you don't have one, just be very careful, because it is a self-tapping screw which goes into the plastic manifold, and it is easy to damage them, so just be careful. Okay, make sure the boost hose is fully seated and it's pulled right up to the lip, and if that's good, then the next thing is just tighten the clip up. So you can rotate the clip to make it a bit easier for yourself to get to, and again, your chosen tool, whether it's a screwdriver, a hose clip tool, we're using a 7mm socket. Okay, so the elbow is now mounted, and the next thing is just putting all the bits back. So we can clip the coolant hose back on. We have the back connection. This pushes on exactly the same way as the standard part. Hear the click when it goes on, and then just put the locking tab in, like that. And of course, don't forget the wiring harness. Clicks on, it's in exactly the same position as the standard one, and again, don't forget to put the lock across. And you are done. It's a nice and easy fit. If you do have any problems, of course, please feel free to get in touch. You can contact us by phone, by email, through the online store, and we will do what we can to help.